Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time it's going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy Hot Toys Drax figure. This is a very long-awaited figure, of course. After being delayed for so long, we do finally have it. And yeah, quite excited to actually finally get it in my collection. The box itself is quite nice. I've never been a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy designed boxes from Hot Toys. However, this one fits in line with that style. I do kind of like the bottom of it, how it's kind of got that grid sense, almost like a vintage game, you know. That kind of fits the tone a bit. But overall, pretty standard box, but let's get on to the actual figure. Here's Drax out of package, but before we go into the figure, let's go over his accessories. Alright, so of course you do get an extra set of wrist pegs and a full set of hands. You get a pair of fists, pair of hands that are meant for holding the knife, one right hand for holding the bazooka kind of weapon, and then two open hands. He doesn't come with a ton of variety, however you really get all that you need with him. Relaxed palms are the only thing I can think of that he doesn't have, but who's going to display Drax with relaxed palms? Either you're going to display him with weapons or with fists, you know, so I don't think that the relaxed palms are necessary in the slightest. Of course, Drax needs his signature weapons. You got his two knives here, and as you can see, great detailing. Let's focus. There we go. You've got some great detail in the blade itself, and you have red that's on the smaller areas of the detail, which I do like a lot. It's very pointed. It has a nice movement to it. I do like the shape of it. The handle is extremely cool. I just like the design of his knives in general, and Hot Toys really captured that here wonderfully with the positioning of the knife and then all the detail inside of it. I think they're quite excellent, and he holds them very well. Let me show you that. So as you can see, he holds the knives very well, and of course you can put them where the knife is facing forward or back. He holds them very sturdy, of course, and it's kind of a signature weapon of Drax, so he looks quite nice with them. He also comes with this bazooka weapon. This is something that I actually wouldn't really expect him to come with or like feel like that he needed to come with, but it's nice that he does. It's a very large weapon, of course, and the detail on it is great. At the end here, you've got metal kind of gray-like texturing with some splotches of brown to give it a kind of rusted look to it, a worn-down look. The spyglass does seem to be translucent, but it's like a blue translucent, which looks nice. On the inside, you do have some good detail in there as well. Same detailing on the other side, of course, and as you get down to like the edge of the barrel, you do have a little place that can rest on his shoulder, and then this area is silver with more of that bronze detail. It really gives it that rusted look. Overall, it's a really cool accessory. Again, like, I'm not going to display him with this, and he only uses it one time in the movie very briefly, but it's still very cool that he comes with it, so, you know, it does help you feel like you're getting more of your money's worth, as it does contribute to the accessories. So here's Drax with the bazooka. He holds the bazooka very well, and it does look cool in some pictures and stuff. However, it doesn't quite go on properly. Obviously, this is supposed to be resting on his shoulder. You've got the elbow bent as far as it can go, and you've got this hinge bent down as far as it can go, and you can't get it there. So it's just not going to work, which is unfortunate. Had he had double hinge elbows, then it would definitely be more feasible, but without it, this is the best that you can get. But from like facing forward, like that looks great, you know, so it's only the side view where you can really see that there's something off, but overall, cool accessory. You also get a standard Guernsey Galaxy base. I do like this base. The design of it is kind of like the Milano's, you know, the floor of the ship. You've got a black nameplate that says Guardians of the Galaxy Drax, and you have an adjustable cradle, of course. It's a nice base. I do like it. It fits in line with the other ones. Nowadays, they really don't do too many, like, actual texturing bottom sections. Usually, they do more logos and things like that. So, this is a bit of an older style base for Hot Toys, but I do like it very much, and it's nice how in line it is with the other Guardians of the Galaxy figures. Alright, so going over the head sculpt I kind of have mixed feelings about. In some regards, I think that it looks pretty decent. You know, I can certainly see the resemblance to Dave Bautista there as Drax. Especially when you get more towards the side, I think that you see it more. You can kind of see the indentation of the chin, which does give it more of his look, I think. And I do like the way that it connects to his neck. It looks all very flush there, but still allows you to have some good articulation. So I do like it from a technical standpoint. The paint itself is very nice, and that is obviously the case throughout the body, which I'll discuss when I go over the body. But the expression, I think, is very bland. I think that this is a really dull expression. I definitely want something different than this. Something more intense, like almost like he's about to fight, or maybe something like a bit of a smirk, although I really don't see that. What I would have liked is almost like a slight confused type of look, or just kind of pondering something. I think that's very much a Drax kind of trait, and I would have liked to see that expressed in the head sculpt, but anything would be better than this as far as expressions is concerned, because this is not a serious head sculpt. It is a dull, like, toy head sculpt. There's nothing going on there. There's no life whatsoever, and it's definitely a shame, because don't mistake this with other Hot Toys head sculpts as far as the expression is concerned. This is not like, because most Hot Toys head sculpts have a seriousness about them, which, you know, I prefer more of an expression, but this one doesn't even have that. It's just a dull, lifeless expression, which is definitely disappointing. However, the head sculpt itself, I see the likeness in there, although, again, I don't think that it's perfect either. So this head sculpt is a mixed bag. I put it more in the disappointing category than I would with the better category. However, it still has its decent aspects to it. Alright, so go over the body. First of all, just with the actual like sculpting and detail like that, it's quite good. I mean, you do get that great skin texture tone throughout the entire body of the figure, so there's excellent detailing there. And then you have all the tattoos, and of course the tattoos are all sculpted on, they're all raised. None of them are just painted, but then they are also painted on the raised section with a darker red, which looks very cool. Tons of great detail. You do have a bit of a seam there on this side, not a big issue in my opinion personally. And obviously because they didn't do rubber, you do have visual joints, which I always prefer. I'd much rather see the joints rather than have the rubber. The rubber cracks and you can't even pose it essentially. So I'm a big fan of how they did this. Now the actual body structure. This is a big issue. I think that they really failed. The arms look much thinner than the actual body themselves, which gives him a beer gut type of look. He should start off, you know, slimmer down to the waist, and then he should bulk up to the top. But instead he starts off slim, and then he, like, you know, does this little thing here, and then it kind of bulks up just slightly. So they've really messed that up. He shouldn't be bulging out this far on these sides. You start thinner and then just kind of go up. But unfortunately, they didn't do it quite well. It's almost like this should be like the start of the ribs, and they just did it at the bottom for some reason. It gives him a really bad look. From the side, it doesn't look bad, but because the bulky section comes from the side, so if you're looking at him from the side, he looks fine. But looking at him from the front, which is where you're mainly going to look at him from, he does have this beer gut type of look, and then his arms just look rather thin. They have muscle structure there, and it's proper muscle structure. It's too thin. I mean, when you have that big of a body, you need the arms to be comparable. So it's really disappointing, and I feel like it's something that while you're making it, you could probably see that. Like, I'm surprised that got through production. They did this similarly to Batman, but they fixed it, you know, and especially when they heard everybody's opinions on it, they fixed it. So the final release was great, and they didn't fix this one, which is definitely a shame. Possibly when they realized that there was an issue because of all the sculpting and everything, they were just too far on in the process. Who knows? They developed this figure over years though, because this one took so long to come out. So I feel like they totally should have been able to fix that problem before it was released. This is the biggest problem of the figure, which is definitely such a shame. And you know, usually the figure themselves looks good, and if there's any issues, it's like a slight thing that's off with the face sculpt, or it's issues with the accessories. But with this figure, having like the main figure himself be the issue is a huge problem, so I'm definitely not a fan of that. Drax comes with 2 interchangeable pants, one red, one gray. Going over the red one first here, I do think it looks quite nice. You do have lots of extra texturing going on. You've got a smooth one here, more of like a rubberish one here, which looks very cool. The knee pads are very prominent. However, it's very hard to get the pants like in the actual shoe. I did have tweezers and was going through the joint of the shoe to like pull the pants down, but at a certain point, you need to take the tweezers out if you're gonna get it fully up enough to like be flush. And when you do that, then it just kind of pushes up the material. So he does tend to bunch up at the knee, which is unfortunate, especially if you have his legs straight. However, it is a relatively small issue. And because there's bunching up in the knees, you do have extra range at the knee joint. So, you know, at least there's that. See, there is a bit of a benefit. Do like the Ravenger symbols on the sides there. Do like the design of these pants. You do have some like actual like a sculpted rubber texturing on there as well, which is cool. But before I show you the gray pants, do want to also show you that on the boots have excellent texturing. You can put in the knives. So get the boots straight here. There you go. You can, trying to get it, yeah. It's a little difficult because it feels like you're going to bend the knife. Let me try the other side. Yeah, there's some more clearance there. So yeah, you can get the knife in on the sides there. The only issue is obviously, you know, the knife is going to be hitting on this, so you need to make sure the legs are positioned properly so that you're not bending the knife out, which is definitely disappointing. So I wouldn't display him with that until you are like ready to put him on your shelf. I'd wait and make sure that you pose him without the knives actually being in his leg holsters, and then pose him. So let's go over the gray pants. So here he is with the gray pants. The gray pants are completely a unique sculpt. They are not just the same design as the red ones, but gray. They're completely unique, which is very cool. You do have different textures going on here. You've got more of a cloth section here, more of a faux leather-like here, which is quite nice. I do like the mixture there. And I do like the fact that he's got like all these straps on him. That's something that the red pants do not have, which I do kind of like on this one. Although I just prefer the red in general for its color. I do like the design of the gray pants, possibly even more, but again, I do like the red better just for its color on the figure. With this gray, he's got so much gray on him that you need something to pop a bit. So, but overall, these gray pants are quite nice. He doesn't wear them for that long in the movie, although most of the promotional images of Drax from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie have him in the gray pants. He really only wears it on Nowhere. You know, he wears it because when we first meet him, he's obviously wearing the prison uniform, and at the final battle, he's wearing the red pants. So the only time that we really see him wearing these is on Nowhere, and for a very short while on Yondu's ship. So these aren't in iconic versions of Drax's pants, and therefore I would go with the red. Although of course nowadays the blue is going to be more of what you think of when you think of what Drax wears. Alright, going over articulation. His articulation is actually pretty good. He's got a ball jointed head, of course, which can look up very far, can look down pretty far, and side to side. So you do have some really nice range in the neck joint there. And like I said, the neck is so flush with the head, I am surprised with the range. It's pretty good. He's got ball hinge shoulders, which do have a bit of a give in there as well. So if you do pose him, you want to make sure that this gap is kind of pushed up. You push up the shoulder so it fills in that gap. Then he has hinge swivel elbows, which can only go 90 degrees, of course. Hinge swivel wrists. Ball jointed waist, which, you know, can go back a fair amount, can go forward a little bit, and then mainly just side to side. As far as the hips are concerned, they can go out about this high. They can go to the side about this much if you're just like splitting the legs without doing damage on the pants, of course. He has double hinge knees, which can go basically full range. You want to make sure that you're not damaging any of the pants, though, when you do push it that extreme. However, it does have the capability to do so. The ankles have excellent range. You've got a wonderful, look at that. That's a fantastic ankle pivot for a Hot Toys figure. That is extremely impressive. Can go forward extremely far as well. So the ankles are probably one of the best ankle joints I've seen on a Hot Toys figure to date. Personally, those are just wonderful. You really don't have any restrictions there as far as range is concerned. But just in general, he articulates better than I would have expected. Alright, so a comparison here, we have Drax with Gamora, both from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I do think that they do look pretty nice together. Obviously, Gamora should be slightly shorter than your average male figure. Drax should be slightly taller, so I do think that they fit in quite well together, as there is a pretty decent gap as far as height's concerned. Again, though, you know, Drax isn't big enough bulk-wise, in the arms especially, to be accurate. But personally, just having them together, they do look very nice. So overall, this is a good figure. I do like the way it's executed for the most part. I think that as far as accessories are concerned, he's pretty decked out. I'm very happy with his accessories. I think that the bazooka is a little unnecessary, and I am surprised that he comes with interchangeable pants. I think that those are just wonderful. The only other thing I could have wanted are a set of blue pants, which obviously he does wear at the very end of the movie, and that's what he wears throughout Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I understand them not doing that if they are going to make a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Drax. However, they haven't put it on pre-order yet, and they're really running out of time. So if they're not actually going to put that on pre-order, I do think that this would have been cool if it came with 3 sets of pants. That would have been amazing. The head sculpt, although I think it's good, it lacks any sort of life because of its really dull expression, and I think the proportions on the body are very off, which is definitely a shame. I will say, just personally, when I got this was probably the most wasteful hot toy I've ever purchased, simply because I got this figure and I put him on my shelf, and that was it. Now, I can't remember what the other hot toy was, but I did get this hot toy on the same day that I got another hot toy, and I was a little more interested in the other one. I think it was maybe Joker, so that maybe contributed to that. But I have to say, I haven't, like, picked this guy up since I bought him. I did nothing with the figure. Doing this review was the only time that I actually had, like, messed around with the figure whatsoever, and in messing around with it, it is very fun. I do like it. However, it doesn't feel like I got my money's worth, because I certainly haven't enjoyed this figure as much as I should have for the, you know, like $200 that I spent on it. So that is definitely a shame for me personally. I will say that I sold my Star-Lord figure just like a week before I got this figure. So like I was about to complete my Guardians of the Galaxy set, and I ended up not completing it because I decided to sell that one to make a bit of a profit, and then to buy the deluxe new version from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So as soon as that Star-Lord comes in, I might actually have some fun with the Guardians of the Galaxy team, as I can finally display them together. Sorry, my camera almost ran out of battery. But anyway, overall, though, it is a solid figure. If you really want a Drax in your collection, this is a good one. I don't think it's a perfect one, though. I think that possibly, because even the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 one that they showed really was the same exact thing, just with different pants. So I'm hoping that maybe for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or possibly Infinity War, if they're actually going to do him, they have a lot of characters to make, but if they do make an Infinity War one, if they made one with better proportions, a new head sculpt, and obviously the blue pants, that would be pretty worth it. So I might even say to just hold out for a better one, but if you want your Guardians of the Galaxy team complete as soon as possible, this is a nice one. And as far as Articulation is concerned, he's very posable for the most part, which does make him rather fun in that regard. But there you go. That's my thoughts on this Guardians of the Galaxy Hot Toys Drax the Destroyer figure. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.